Hi everyone, so welcome to Simple Values. So today I want to talk about another EV company because the last video I did, EVs were really popular. So there was some inquiries around if there was another EV company that I might have missed out, and yes there is. There's this company called Electra Meccanica. The name looks terribly difficult when you look at it like this, but once you break it up into Electra and Meccanica, the name's not too bad. And then if we look at the share price, it's gone from less than $2 to over $3. And the last trading day for the stock, it went up 34.33%. Even after then, the stock price is just slightly less than $200 million. So I kind of see a lot of potential for this company, though again, the product of this company probably has some limitations. It's not quite like a Tesla or a Neo. So as you can kind of see here, this is their main product called the Solo. It is also their ticker symbol coming under Solo. So if you wanted to find a stock, just look up the ticker symbol Solo. It kind of looks like half a car. In a sense, it is kind of like half a car because it can only sit one person. But it's kind of in the whole area of being economical and very efficient, especially if you're in the city and you don't want a very large vehicle and you usually just travel to work alone. Then it makes for a really good work vehicle, a delivery vehicle, or even a courier vehicle, because the size of it's just so much more convenient, and it also means the cost is significantly lower, because compared to something like a Tesla where you're paying quite a large price, here you get half a car, so in a sense you're paying half the price. So that's kind of one of those good points. So if we come down here, you can see the price tag's 18,500. So in a sense, very affordable for anyone that wants to get one of these vehicles. And you can kind of see some decent snapshots, different colors. At first, when I looked at this vehicle, I kind of thought it looks very, very strange. But over time, it kind of builds on to you. Like, if you think about a scooter, if you don't really want to drive a scooter, you don't really want to drive a full-size car. I think this kind of bridges the market, and it has that potential to really succeed, especially once people start to just, be a bit more open-minded about this type of vehicle. And in time, I think it has that potential to do really well. So yeah, apart from this, they're also got some other vehicles in the line as well. So as we look here, they've also got another two-seater. So design looks really nice. Looks very luxurious, and it's looking about 50,000 for this vehicle. But I think it's going to be quite a long way before they're going to get into production for this vehicle. Whereas the Solo is going to be in production probably right now, and it's probably going to be sold commercially in the next few months. So that's kind of what's also very, exciting about this company. It's got a new vehicle in a new space, and it's, in production. So it's going to be commercial this year, and I think that's going to do really well when it comes to re-rating the stock price here. So if we look at, they also have a Roadster. So this company kind of reminds me of the early stage Tesla, when they were doing like luxurious vehicles and then over time get into mass production. Though I think the Solo has the chance to actually get into mass production. So in a sense they're working a little bit from reverse. But yeah, I think this will be also pretty cool, particularly if you like the style of car. Though the price tag's not too cool at 124,900, so you really have to, like this type of vehicle and have the money to buy it. Though I'd say the big bet is on the Solo, and I think they have a decent chance of succeeding. In terms of financing, the company just recently raised $20 million, and that's at a $2 price tag, so that's actually pretty decent. Though the share price has gone up to $3, but I think $2, it wasn't too bad on their part. And if we look at their financials, let's get a closer look. Revenues probably not really there because they haven't really begun selling this vehicle yet. So our biggest concern would be the net losses. So we can see the last 3 months they did lost about $2 million. And in last year, it was 30 million, so 30 million is quite substantial, but that, they had to spend that money to get the vehicle, up to the standard where it is. But prior to that, it was 10 million, 11 million. So the 20 million that they recently raised should get them through another 12 months at least. And by then they'll be selling their vehicle and they probably won't need to raise as much money. So I was watching one of their presentations and then there was a few highlights about this company. So as you know, the Solo will be in production very soon. In 2017 they did 64 prototypes, so this vehicle's already been in production and driving on roads for around 3 years. And it's kind of a proof of concept. And then in last year they did 50 prototypes to prove the manufacturing works. So they've already gone through these steps in the last few years, and now they get into the production. And so these vehicles will be made in China, and they've got a production potential around 20,000 vehicles. At 20,000 vehicles at 18,500 is about $370 million. So if they could potentially sell up to 20,000 vehicles, it can potentially be very lucrative, particularly since they don't manufacture the cars, so they have a set price that they manufacture these vehicles at, and everything will translate to the bottom line for the margins in between. So as long as they can keep the costs down, which they think they can, then this company can actually enter profitability much more sooner than the other EV companies that have their own production facilities, particularly if it's also the Solo, which compared to a normal conventional vehicle, the margins could potentially be much larger. And we've got this comparison for ownership, and I've done a benchmark of all these other vehicles that you're probably very familiar with: the Mini Cooper, Nissan Leaf, Chevy Bolt, and most important of all, the Tesla Model 3. So we can look at the price tag. As I was saying, it's basically half the price of a Tesla. So if Teslas, you're looking at about 40,000, Solo less than 20,000. And already right there, the price tag's already very accessible to a lot of people. And then you can look at state rebates and all that, and maintenance. Generally maintenance repairs seems to be in this very similar category. Somehow Teslas seem to have a lot higher repair costs. And then you can also, look at the fuel kind of consumption. $1,800 compared to say like a Tesla, which is 2,500. It's not like a lot, not like a lot lower, but you're probably saving about 25% on the fuel costs. But if we compare the overall kind of price tag and the ownership, you're looking about 38,000 when you compare that to say like owning a Tesla, which will cost you about 80,000. So if you don't really drive people around that often, you just need a car to get to places or just deliver things, then this car is perfect because it's so much more economical than just a normal conventional vehicle. So I can definitely see a market where this car is going to be in a lot of demand, particularly if you live in the city. And they've also done a presentation here where they did the stats, and about 76% of people who drive to work are usually driving alone, and usually 3 to 5 seats of that vehicle is empty. So you can kind of see where the efficiencies and the opportunity is for this vehicle, where it's kind of it's not a scooter. There's some people just don't like to drive scooters, and for me, I'm probably in that same boat. I don't really want to be driving a scooter. And a vehicle might be, in a sense, you're using too much for what you need. You don't need 4 seats. You don't need such a large vehicle. Originally when I looked at the Solo, I was kind of thinking it's a pretty weird vehicle. But after looking at it and then just looking at the advantages of having such a vehicle, even I'm starting to be a bit more interested. Though it's always good to see how they actually run once they're actually on sale. So I think that's going to be the biggest test for this in terms of their launch and their ability to scale up and then over time reach that profitability area. But yeah, so I think it's kind of it's definitely got the chance to succeed in a very very big way, especially given the market valuation of less than 200 million. So that's kind of what I've looked at, and I feel very very convinced that this company has a huge potential within the next 12 months, assuming they can get into production and then they can start selling these vehicles in a large way. They're already opening quite a few stores. I think they're looking at Los Angeles first in terms of their location that they want to start selling, and then over time they're going to expand throughout different states in the US, and afterwards they're going to do this internationally. So in terms of the market, this company can do very well, and they've already got their partner who will be manufacturing this vehicle in China. And yeah, like it seems to be everything set up for this company to succeed. I guess it just depends if there's an actual demand for this vehicle. Yeah, I'd be pretty interested to hear from you guys. Do you think this is a well-designed vehicle? Would you buy one? And what's your thoughts on this stock? If you have any questions, just post below. Until then, good luck investing, everyone.